So last year, I made a, I wrote actually on my blog. Did I ever write it on my blog? But I know I wrote it out. 8 rules to never go broke again in your life. And this doesn't have anything to do with, cut your spending or anything like that. This is all about wealth creation, right? So, 8 rules to never go broke again in your life. The first one is you must identify and recognize your assets. And I guess you have to you know, let's start with recognizing and identifying your assets. Now, your assets may include your current opportunities, like you're going to school. If you're going to school, then you know that you're building an asset, because the best asset obviously is obviously going to be knowledge. Nobody can take what you know from you. So asset, knowledge. And what other kind of assets do you have? Assets are anything that are capable of appreciating their value over time, and they are capable of generating income today. So if you have knowledge, you can use it to work and you can generate income today. And obviously knowledge only compounds, especially if you keep adding on to the knowledge, build more knowledge. Once you know that this is your asset, then you have to guard it very well. At least you understand what an asset is, and that is why you identify an asset. And now let me tell you a story. About 2 years ago, I had a bike. I paid for the bike I was using. I paid off that one. I had extra money in my account, so I went and bought a bike. Now, the first bike I was using, I just abandoned it because it needed some repair, and I wasn't really sure. Eventually, I was going to sell it. But this second bike I was using was mine. And then just after the 2023 elections, and then before the swearing in, I lost the paper of that bike. Just the paper of the bike, just like all the papers, everything complete. And to me, I felt very bad about losing the papers. But also the fact that I have to go and start doing affidavit, I have to go and start, retrieving each paper one by one. And it happened at a bad time. I didn't have extra cash saved up. So I just got angry and said to myself, let me keep the bike down and get another bike that I can use hire purchase, so that I keep that bike. I'll not get the other bike, and then I'll have two bikes or something. I'll quickly pay off the other bike. Another reason why I wanted to get the bike was because I know that if I have to pay money to someone every week, I'm going to have to go to work. Like right now, I'm just taking a liberty to make the video. I have to go to work because I know I have to pay money to someone for the bike I'm using. So I knew that, okay, now, but why would I even have to sell the one that I have? Like, it was mine. I just needed to get the papers back. And I sold it for the amount I used to get the papers. What the is the money for? Do you get? So it was like I didn't know what an asset was. I didn't know that I had an asset. I didn't recognize that this was an asset. I didn't identify it as one of my assets. Why would you not be able to identify something as an asset? It's because your eye or your mind is somewhere else. They say you gotta be grateful for the one you have first. We know, they say a bird in hand is worth 100 in the bush. Okay? So even though there's a lot of shit going on online and people are making money and cashing out, and you want to plug into that socket, the current thing that you have going for you is an asset. It's the one that is keeping you going, giving you, paying your bills, and even giving you the connection, the data, to even know what is happening on the outside that you want to even plug in. And so eventually I got to watch a video where the guy talked about 80-20% rule. And he said that, even though this Forex or crypto or anything online, marketing, even though their potential is huge, you can easily scale with them, right? The hotel job that you have, the secretary desk job that you have, the laborer job that you have, the driver job that you have, that is your 80%. That's the one that is paying your bills and even giving you connection to know that there's something going on the outside. So what you need to do is focus on your job 80% and have your 20% that you are building, just very minimal. It will be growing gradually until it compounds. And once that 20% as the income from there has superseded your 80%, it's time to move. But until then, you just don't think, oh, I can do anything, which is what I was thinking. Maybe I was magic shot. I don't know what was got into me, but it's a big lesson. And like I say to people, it's not only success you get to learn from, you get to learn from failure. And I'm grateful for all of the lessons and teachings that I've encountered online, TikTok, everywhere, that has given me the courage to overcome all kind of social anxiety and just share myself and my view and my point of view, and I might have been thinking of wearing a shirt and appearing all clean, but look, I'm gonna hustle right now, and how that shit is real. So yes, but nonetheless, you identify your assets. You identify your assets and your skills, and if you have assets, you're not gonna have an asset now. Maybe you have a house or a building or land that is going to still appreciate in another year, and then what usually takes assets away from people is you're going to use it to borrow money. You go and borrow money to and when you're borrowing money for consumption, and you haven't taken care of the fact that what is actually going to bring money in. So if you have I'll get to number 2 in a moment, and number 3, which is actually the crucial part. But number 1 is always to identify your assets. For example, this dartboard, right? What kind of asset is it? An aesthetic asset. So I just like the fact that it's there. And then, every now and then I get to, just keep myself busy, So I know what kind of asset it is. Not generating me any kind of money, So I know what is generating me money, and I know how to keep it active. Now, even doing videos and stuff like this, yes, your social media account is an asset. Your followers, assets. They have the capability of, increasing in value, and they have the capability of generating you income and me. So I think there's so many things that are assets. Your resilience, the focus that you put in your work, a lot of soft assets as well are available, and your hard assets, have the social media account, and have this smartphone. And sometimes when you have assets, this thing is capable of generating me income, and you are not using it to generate income. Your time is an asset. Your time is an asset, and how you use it to generate income. You need to, am I using my time in the best way to generate income? Am I using my phone in the best way to generate income? So I need to do videos, and I need to post them on my social media account, and the videos are they assets to me and to other people. Like, I know I can come back to watch this video in a few years and remind myself, okay, yes, so I'm gonna stop now because so we're running to 10 minutes, and next video will be number 2 rule never to go broke in your life, and that will be, oh my god, I need to try to remember. I thought I'll have everything. I always forget these things. Number 1 is identify your assets. Number 2 is walk. That's the major thing. That's why you're even looking for assets in the first place. You walk, and you must walk towards what? Targets. Bullseye. When you're walking, you're not just walking because you're walking because you like to walk. You make sure your walk is towards a target, and I will expatiate more on that in the next video. And then we'll go to number 3, which is then after working to make targets, you acquire more assets, you acquire bigger assets, you expand your asset base, and that is for number 3. And we're going all the way to number 8. So thank you. Enjoy the rest of the week. It's a Monday, and wish me luck. It's Yolo, it's KO, it's already. I have so many nicknames, man, but I'm still the same me, multiplayer. All right, identify your assets. You're my assets.